Hey fam, I'm back again. Fam, I'm not gonna be before you long. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be before you strong. So let's listen up. Let's dive right in. We're gonna pray at the end, okay? We give God the glory for covering his word in his blood. And we thank God that he will send the Holy Spirit to come on in to help me get this word out the way he intended it for it to be. Because fam, I can't do this on my own. A lot of people like to take God's credit. I don't, because I know I stay in my lane. And my lane is I need you, Father. I need you to come on down here, Father. I need you to show me how to do it, what to do it, how to do it, what to say, and I'm certainly going to obey. All right? So, let's go. Now, there is a word in the spirit today, right? That refuses to bow to what the natural eye is showing. It stands in direct contradiction to evidence, reports, emotions, and even the silence of God in some seasons. That word is simple, but it is heavy with faith. All is well. Not because everything looks well, but because everything feels well. But because faith has learned how to speak before manifestation shows up. I want to say that again. I think I messed it up. But I'm not going to stop the tape, right? Because this is real time and I'm human. I make human error. Let's try it again. All right. Not because everything looks well, not because everything feels well, but because faith has learned how to speak before manifestation shows up. There we go. I hear this anchored in the life of a woman in Second Kings 4. The Shunammite woman, that's my girl. Oh, if you haven't read that and if you're not familiar with her story, then you need to go and read about the Shunammite woman. A woman who didn't just experience blessing, but also experienced the kind of heartbreak that can shake your foundation if you let it. God had given her what she did not even ask for, and that was a son in her old age. A promise that was fulfilled, a miracle held in her arms. But then the text takes a turn that most people are not prepared for. That same promised son dies in her arms. And here is where her fate becomes a teaching sermon all by itself. She lays the child on the bed of the prophet that told her a year prior that she was going to have it. She doesn't announce death. She doesn't spread panic. She doesn't declare defeat. When her husband asks what's wrong, her response is not denial. It is revelation, level faith. It is well. Not because the child is alive, not because the situation is fixed, but because she understood something deeper. Let me slow my roll because I get excited. What God gives, God has authority over. Hmm. I want somebody to really know that tonight. What God gives, God has authority over. And she refuses to let the final word belong to death. Somebody needs to hear that today. You may be standing in a place where what God promised you looks like it has died. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Dreams that used to breathe now feel silent. Marriages that once had life now feel disconnected. Health reports that feel final. Finances that feel buried. Purpose that feels delayed. But heaven is still asking, what are you going to say about it? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Because your words are not just reactions, they are declarations of what you believe about God. The Shunammite woman teaches us something powerful. She never called her situation what it looked like. She called it according to what she knew about God. Mm. She knew Elisha, Elisha, didn't just represent a man. He represented the voice of God in her life. So she goes directly to the source. She doesn't waste time explaining the situation to everyone else. No. She moves with urgency toward the present that carries all the answers. I like that. And when she gets there, she still holds her confession. Even in grief, even in pressure, even when her heart is broken, even when she is looking at her son that's now lifeless and cold. But still, she chooses to say, not what the situation called for. I feel your presence, God. But she says, all is well. She says, in essence, if God gave it, God can deal with it. You see, some of you all, God gave something to. And the enemy came along and stole it, right? Or thought he did anyway. Let me tell you how God told it to me. He said, my daughter, your life is in my hands. Man don't dictate to you what your tomorrow holds. He said, if you lost it, I allowed it. And if I allowed it, keep watching, my daughter, because those that thought they took something from you, they're going to lose more than that. But not only that, the pit that they dug for you, they're about to fall therein. You better ask somebody. Come on now. Now, we don't wish nobody ill will. We don't wish that people have it just because they did us wrong. We don't wish them hurt. No, we don't. We don't wish they demise or they sabotage. We wish them what? Well, let's keep going. I got excited right there. Because the same people that watch you go down or think they're bringing you down is the same people that's going to see you when you go up. When God elevates you. But let me come on now, I'm getting excited. Let me get on track. She says, in essence, if God gave it, God can deal with it. You deal with it, God. I choose to believe. It is well. Now, let's bring this into your life right now. Let's do that. There are some of you listening who have been negotiating with disappointment. You've been trying to make peace with what didn't work out. You've been rehearsing worst case scenarios so often that hope feels like something you used to have. Oh, baby, you better get your faith today. You better know that God has a final say. I don't care what it look like. All is well. But I came to interrupt that agreement tonight. Because heaven is not asking you to deny what happened. Heaven is asking you not to give it authority over your final confession. All is well is not ignorance. It is warfare language. You hear me? It is warfare language. It is the kind of statement that says, even if I don't see it yet, even if I don't feel it yet, even if nothing around me has changed yet, I still trust the character of God. And let me remind you who your God is. He is not just a giver. He is a restorer, baby. He is not just a healer. He is a reviver of what looks finished. He is not just a helper. He is a resurrector of dead places, things, and people. That's who I serve. I don't know about who you serve, but come on, let's finish talking about it. Jesus proves this when he stands at the tomb of Lazarus. In John 11, 4 days late, as some would have said, according to people's timing, but perfectly on time according to purpose. And he speak a word that still shakes graveyards today. Lazarus, come forth. Now remember, Lazarus was in the grave 4 days, ice cold, stinking dead. And all he had to say, Lazarus, come forth. Because death is never the final authority when Jesus is in the room. So when you say all is well, and it is, what you say when your eyes say one thing, but your spirit knows another, all is well, is what you declare when you don't yet have evidence, but you have expectations. All is well is what you hold on to when God hasn't finished the story yet. Now I want to go deeper. You want to go deeper with me? Come on, let's go. He calling us into the deep, baby. Into the Shunammite woman's posture. Because this is where many people miss their miracle. She did three things. Somebody say three. 1, 2, 3. She did three things. First, she refused. Okay, let me go back. I'm getting excited. She did three things to shift the atmosphere. Can't leave that out. First, she refused to speak death over what God gave her. Second, she pursued the presence of God rather than public opinion. Third, she held her confession even when walking through crisis. So 1, she refused. 2, she pursued. And 3, she confessed. Baby, you better ask somebody. Refuse, pursue, and confess. That sounds like David when he said, Lord, shall I pursue? And God said, yeah, you shall, and you will recover all. Let's keep going, but let's stay with the Shunammite because I'm getting excited. That is maturity in faith. Because it is easy to praise God when everything is alive and working, or alive and well. It is another level to say it is well when you are holding what looks like a dead promise. But hear me tonight, fam. The miracle did not begin when the child revived. The miracle began when she refused to change her confession. I refuse to change my confession. I'm going to win. I am the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. I'm blessed coming in and blessed going out. I'm telling you, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. When God is for me, who can be against me? All right? That's my confession. And I'm not changing it for nobody. I don't care what it looks like. All is well. Some of you are one confession away from losing your peace. Just one. Now, I got to say that again. That's some weight on that word right there. Some of you, let me put me in there. Some of us, no, I ain't putting me in there. Some of you are one confession away from losing your peace. Because I'm not giving my peace away. I'm not going to let my peace be interrupted, baby. I'm not going to do it. Or one confession away from walking into it. So which one you going to choose? You going to be one confession away from losing your peace? Or one confession away from walking into what God got for you? Because see, I'm about to get mine. I'm about to walk into what God has said I'm going to get. I don't care what man thought they took. Baby, they don't know. They didn't set me up for a miracle. They didn't set me up for elevation. I told you, you ain't believe me when you ain't believe me when I said that I was protected to be elevated. Come on now, I'm protected. All right, let me calm down. Yeah, I am excited. That is why Proverbs 18 and 21 says, death and life. You know, we talked about this the other night, that death and life are in the power of the tongue. Not in the power of the situation, not in the power of the report. In the power of the tongue. It's in what you say it is. Whose report are you going to believe? Because I'm going to believe the report of the Lord. So what are you feeding your atmosphere? Faith or fear? Victory or defeat? Which one is it? You know you got to choose, right? Because if you keep speaking death, you will start seeing death everywhere. But if you keep speaking life, even in dry places, you are making room for resurrection, baby. Now let me speak directly into somebody's situation. You feel like something has died, right? You feel like, oh Lord, they took that away from me. That's gone. It's dead. The devil is a lie. A relationship that mattered, maybe. A dream that mattered. A version of your future you were counting on. And you've been asking, can this ever come back? The answer is, with God, nothing is beyond restoration. If he chooses to breathe on it, he will. Ezekiel 37 shows us a valley of dry bones. I know y'all remember them dry bones. Not sick bones, not weakened bones, dry bones. And God asks a question that sounds almost ridiculous. Can these bones live? Now God asked that question. He already knew the answer. He is the answer, yeah? Because God specializes in what look impossible. He loves it. And Ezekiel responds wisely, Lord, you know. See, Ezekiel know. He knew I ain't gonna mess with God. God asking a question he already know the answer to because he is the answer. So Ezekiel said, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give God what he wants. I'm gonna have some faith here, Lord. You already know, God. That is the posture of trust. Not pretending, not guessing, but surrendering the outcome to God while still believing he can move. So here is your instruction today. Stop calling it finished when God has not spoken the final word. Stop declaring burial when heaven is still considering breath. Stop agreeing with what died before God releases resurrection. Because the same God who allowed the promise to be born is the same God who can call it back to life. You better ask somebody about that. And even if he chooses, not man, not what they think they took, even if he chooses a different path than you expected, he is still faithful. So today, I want to place this confession in your spirit. Say it over your life, your home, your mind, and your future. All is well. Not because everything is fixed, but because God is still faithful. Jesus is still Lord. Resurrection is still his specialty. And the story is not over. And like the shooter might want, you may have walked through something that made no sense. That just didn't make no sense. But you are still standing. I love it. Still believing. Still moving forward toward God instead of away from him. That alone is evidence that hope is still alive in you. And I need you to hear this as I close. Let me take a breath for a minute. Because God about to blow somebody's mind. God about to do what the world say couldn't be done. God is about to do his big one. All right, let me calm down. Let me stay professional. All right? Come on, let me fix my clothes. Baby, y'all don't know about this God I serve. Y'all don't know, but you about to see. Because I'm what? Protected. To be elevated. What looks dead is not always dead. I got to say that again. I got to say that again. What looks dead is not always dead in the hands of God. Sometimes it's just waiting for the right word, the right moment, and the right breath from heaven. So hold your confession, hold your faith, hold your expectation, because morning is coming. This too shall pass. What they thought they stole, what they thought they took, ah, God is about to show up because it is well. And until it fully manifests, and it will, you can still say it with authority. All is well. Oh, fam, I leave you right there. There's nothing else to say. You have a great and amazing, marvelous, awesome rest of your day. I know that I will see you soon, as the Lord wills. Why? Because all is well.